What if I told you that the very thing you're trying to avoid is the only thing that can set you free? Everybody wants to dream, but nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to shine, but no one wants to sweat. You scroll past people living the life, flying private, living loud, and you think, what's their secret? What did they figure out that I didn't? I'll tell you, you ready? They didn't figure out a shortcut. They became the shortcut. While you were looking for an easier way, they were digging deeper. While you were hoping something would change, they were changing themselves. And while you were praying for motivation, they were moving forward anyway. Tired, hungry, doubted, dismissed, but consistent. Let's make something clear right now. Hard work is the only shortcut. There's no button, no app, no three-step formula that replaces this truth. You can lie to yourself, but the mirror knows. The bank account knows. Your future knows. This isn't for the soft-hearted. This is for the ones who are tired of waiting, tired of hearing someday. This is for the people who are done blaming, done procrastinating, and ready to do the one thing that always works: work harder than they thought was possible. Let's talk about what separates the average from the excellent. Let's break down why hard work is not the long way, it's the fastest way. Let's get into it, shall we? Everywhere you turn, someone's selling a dream without the dirt. Make 6 figures in 90 days. Learn this one skill and never work again. Buy this course and unlock your millionaire mindset. It's bait, it's fiction, and it's dangerous. See, the lie of easy success is one of the most profitable industries in the world because it sells to your laziness. It tells you, you don't need to struggle, you don't need to sacrifice. There's a faster way. And in the moment, it feels good. It strokes your ego. It makes you feel like you're already close, like the treasure is buried just inches beneath your feet. But here's the hard truth. There is no success without sweat. The man who builds slowly, brick by brick, is mocked in the beginning because he doesn't look flashy, but over time his foundation holds. The man chasing shortcuts may rise fast, but he falls faster. Why? Because you can't skip character. You can't rush mastery. You can't microwave greatness. Anything that comes quick is just as quick to leave you. Every success is loud in the beginning and silent at the end. Hard work is silent at the beginning and loud at the end. Every real winner you've ever admired, every athlete, entrepreneur, leader, they didn't cheat the grind. They didn't find some magical secret. They just got up earlier, stayed later, outworked their weakness every day, even when no one watched, especially when no one watched. Let me break it down for you. You'll never look back at your life and be proud of what came easy. You'll be proud of what you earned, of what you bled for, of what you refused to give up on when it would have been easier to quit. So stop chasing hacks. Stop hunting shortcuts. The game was never rigged, it's just hard. And if you're willing to accept that truth, then you've already won half the battle. Because while others are looking for a secret, you'll be becoming the solution. Talent might open the door, but only grit keeps you inside the room. Every time you see someone performing at a high level, dominating in their field, standing on stages or signing deals, know this: that didn't come from a gimmick. It came from grinding when nobody was clapping. There are thousands of talented people who never made it. You know some. You might even be one. Because talent alone is a flirt. It teases you with potential, but it never commits to you. Grit? Grit is marriage. Grit shows up when you're tired. Grit keeps going when it's boring. Grit works when motivation is gone and the hype fades out. People love gimmicks because they're exciting. Gimmicks feel like progress. Biohack this, optimize that, leverage your network, drop ship your way to freedom. All noise, all distractions. You don't need more strategy, you need more stamina. Gimmicks will fool the crowd, but they can't fool the clock. Time always exposes the truth, and the truth is the man who gets up early, repeats the boring, outlasts the excitement, and builds with patience is the one who wins. You're not stuck because you're missing some shiny tactic. You're stuck because you've avoided the uncomfortable. And grit lives in the uncomfortable. It's forged in repetition, shaped by sweat and hardened by rejection. Grit is ugly, but it gets results. It doesn't care how you feel, it cares that you finish. And that's the difference between the winners and the watchers. Grit says, this isn't fun, but I'm doing it anyway. That mindset doesn't trend, but it transforms. So next time you're tempted to jump on the next new thing, pause. Ask yourself, am I really stuck? Or am I just tired of doing the work? Because if it's the latter, then grit is your answer. Not another course, not another podcast. Just you discipline, your routine, and the fire you refuse to let die. Grit is rare, but it's powerful. It's the slow burn that turns into an unstoppable flame. And once you choose it, nothing gimmicky will ever satisfy you again. You don't need more motivation. You need a better relationship with boredom. That's where discipline lives. People always ask, what's the secret? What's the trick to success? But they hate the answer when they hear it. Show up daily, even when you don't feel like it. It sounds too simple to be true, too repetitive to be respected. But that's the point. Greatness isn't built in bursts, it's built in rhythm. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the excitement has died. It's waking up on that 5th day in a row when you're exhausted, uninspired, and tempted to delay, and still lacing up your shoes. Still opening that laptop, still showing up. The problem is people want results that last without behaviors that repeat. They want trophies without training, and when they realize how boring the climb is, they quit. That's the tragedy of our generation. Addicted to dopamine, allergic to discipline. There's no applause in routine. No viral post in your 4th day of writing, or your 7th cold shower, or your 10th rejection, followed by a quiet decision to try again. But those are the bricks, those are the moments. That's when you're actually becoming dangerous. Not when people notice you, but when you refuse to stop. Discipline doesn't give you instant results, but it guarantees eventual transformation. You see, talent is seasonal. Motivation is emotional, but discipline is eternal. It keeps going when every part of you is screaming to stop. It's not glamorous, but it's sacred. If you can master your habits, you can master your life. Show me a man with discipline, and I'll show you a man the world will eventually have no choice but to respect. Because he doesn't bend to pressure, he applies it every single day. If you're tired of the ups and downs, if you're sick of starting over, if you're done watching others pass you, then lock in. Start treating discipline like oxygen. Make it non-negotiable. Not because it's fun, but because it's who you are now. And once it becomes your identity, it becomes effortless. That's the real secret. That's the real age. Everyone wants the crown, but no one wants the crawl. That's the truth. People avoid when they say things like trust the process. Most don't really trust it. They tolerate it for a while until it gets uncomfortable, until it takes too long, until the rewards don't come fast enough. Then they abandon the process and go back to looking for another shortcut. But the truth is this, the process is the prize, because it shapes you into the kind of person who deserves the result. The process is slow, unforgiving, and thankless in the beginning. You'll show up every day, put in the reps, and still feel like you're going nowhere. But what you can't see is what's happening underneath. The process is building roots before it grows fruit. And if you try to skip that, your results will collapse the first time pressure hits. That's why most people never last. They're only in it for the outcome, not the transformation. You don't get strong in the spotlight. You get strong in silence, when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when it's just you, your standards, and a quiet decision to give your best anyway. That's where champions are forged. Not on stage, but in solitude. The process is supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you, supposed to make you doubt yourself. That's how it qualifies you. So stop rushing your growth. Stop hating the season you're in just because it doesn't come with applause. Every struggle you're facing is preparing you for a stage you haven't stepped on yet. Every repetition is building something unshakable in you. The process won't just give you what you want, it'll make sure you're ready to handle it. Respect it. Embrace it. Because if you keep showing up with intention, day after day, eventually that slow grind becomes unstoppable momentum. And when it hits, people will call you lucky. Let them. You'll know the truth. You didn't get lucky. You got built. Through patience, through pressure, through the process. There's a type of confidence that's loud. Flashy clothes, expensive cars, loud opinions. It talks a lot, posts a lot, flexes a lot, but when the pressure hits, when the lights go out, when real life throws a punch, that confidence crumbles. Why? Because it was never earned. It was borrowed. Built on hype, and hype fades. But earned confidence comes from showing up when no one else would. It comes from failure, rejection, and the relentless decision to keep going anyway. It doesn't need to shout because it knows. It's rooted in work that was done in silence. And that kind of confidence, you can't fake it, you can't borrow it, you have to bleed for it. See, the problem with today's world is that people want to look confident more than they want to be capable. They want the appearance without the effort, the presence without the pressure. But when life checks you, and it will, all that fake confidence evaporates. The only thing that will hold is the truth you built through sweat, through struggle, and through unshakable work ethic. Every rep you do in the dark, that's a deposit. Every hour you train when no one's clapping, that's a foundation. And when the world tries to rattle you, that's what you stand on. Not theory, not image, not hype, but real earned confidence. That's the kind of strength that doesn't just impress people, it inspires them. So forget trying to appear strong, become strong. Forget pretending you've got it together. Build the version of yourself that does. Because when you know you've done the work, nobody can take that away from you. They can doubt you, they can talk about you, they can laugh, but they can't break you. And that's the power of earned confidence. It doesn't need a stage. Everybody's chasing a finish line, the car, the house, the followers, the trophy. But the real ones know something the world forgets. The reward isn't the outcome, it's the process. It's the work. It's who you become in the fire. That's the real prize. Because once you get the house, you want a bigger one. Once you win the trophy, you'll be chasing the next. And that cycle, it never ends. But the feeling of knowing you gave everything, that you didn't cheat the grind, that's forever. Most people think fulfillment comes from achieving the goal. But true fulfillment, it comes from knowing you earned the right to be where you are. It's not about the applause at the end. It's about the silence you conquered on the way there. It's not about the photo you post. It's about the thousands of hours no one saw. The early mornings, the lonely nights, the moments when quitting felt easier, but you stayed anyway. That's the part that changes you. You have to fall in love with the effort. You have to find joy in the discipline. You have to realize that becoming great isn't something that happens at the end of a journey. It happens during it. Every time you choose to push instead of pause. Every time you finish what you started. Every time you rise when it'd be easier to rest. You're winning. Because the truth is, you don't really want the dream. You want the feeling of deserving the dream. And that only comes from work, from pain, from repetition. That's why some of the hungriest people are the most dangerous. Because they're not waiting for the reward to feel whole. They already feel whole because they respect the grind. So stop chasing the high. Stop rushing the result. Embrace the dirt. Respect the work. Fall in love with what most people run from. Because the man who loves the work will always own the ones who only love the win. That's how you become untouchable. Not when you get what you want, but when you become who you were meant to be through the struggle. It sounds backwards, doesn't it? The thing everyone tries to avoid, hard work, is the very thing that gets you there faster. People waste years chasing shortcuts that don't exist. They jump from one strategy to another, hoping to stumble into success. But while they're zigzagging, the one who locks in, grits his teeth, and puts his head down, he gets there quicker. because he's not waiting for perfect timing. He's not hoping for an easier path, he just moves. Hard work eliminates guesswork. It reveals the truth. You either want it or you don't. You either show up or you don't. You either pay the price or you stay broke. Mentally, emotionally, financially. That's the raw reality, and the sooner you accept it, the faster you'll rise. The hard road becomes the fast road once you stop resisting it. The longer you dance around effort, the longer you stay still. Look at every man who made it from nothing, every name you respect. They didn't stumble on a secret formula. They chose the path no one wants. Relentless, consistent, boring effort. And that effort compounded into momentum, and that momentum turned into domination. That's not theory. That's law. Hard work is the shortcut because it removes the distractions. When you decide to do whatever it takes, suddenly you're not scrolling all day. You're not whining. You're not comparing. You're building. Every hour adds up. Every rep matters. Every sacrifice compounds. And that clarity, that's power. That's how you start leaving people behind who used to laugh at you. They're still looking for the elevator. You're halfway up the stairs. So no more lies, no more hacks, no more hoping success falls in your lap. If you want to win, then grind. If you want freedom, then bleed for it. Because the moment you commit to hard work, without complaint, without excuses, that's the moment the world starts opening doors for you. Not because it's easy, but because you proved you're the kind of person who deserves it. Hard work is permission. It's the price you pay to become powerful. Pay it, and the game becomes yours. You want the world to respect you? Then stop asking for it. Stop begging to be seen. The loudest man in the room is rarely the strongest. It's the one who keeps moving in silence, who wakes up early, works late, sacrifices without complaint, that the world eventually bows to. Because power isn't proven by how loud you talk. It's proven by how long you last. See, we live in a culture addicted to attention. If it's not on social media, people think it didn't happen. If no one claps, they feel like they're not progressing. But real growth, real power, that happens when no one's watching. When the room is empty, when the lights are off. When the only one holding you accountable is the voice inside your own soul. The men who rise the highest are the ones who bled the longest without recognition. They didn't need validation to keep going. They didn't need followers to stay disciplined. They weren't looking for praise. They were looking for results. And that mindset, it's rare, but it's lethal. Let them laugh, let them doubt, let them sleep. You stay grinding, you stay locked in, because while they party, you're preparing. While they take breaks, you take steps. And eventually they'll wonder how you did it. How you passed them, how you flipped your pain into power. But you'll know you earned it. In silence, you earned it. That's when you become dangerous. When your actions speak louder than your words and your results do all the talking. The world can't ignore a man who refuses to fold. It has no choice but to respect the one who bleeds without a spotlight and still finishes first. Stay quiet, stay focused. Let your legacy make the noise. Because when the storm comes, when the pressure rises, and when others fall, it's the silent grinders who remain standing. Always, you've heard enough promises. You've seen enough hype. Let's cut through it all and stand in the truth. Hard work is the only shortcut. No magic, no miracles, just raw effort, repeated daily when it's hard, when it's thankless, when no one's watching. That's what separates winners from wishers. You don't need more motivation, you need movement. You don't need more time, you need priorities. You don't need another plan, you need execution right now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, right now. Because the version of you that changes your life isn't waiting for the stars to align. He's putting in the reps while everyone else scrolls, sleeps, and makes excuses. There is no secret door, no elevator to the top. There are stairs. And they're steep. But every step you take builds the man you were born to be, and once you accept that, once you embrace the pain, the silence, the discipline, the world has no choice but to move out of your way. So rise, bleed if you must, crawl if you must, but never stop. The grind doesn't owe you anything, but it'll give you anything if you show up without excuses. Be the one they said wouldn't make it. Be the one who turned pressure into purpose. Be the proof that hard work beats every shortcut they ever tried. Now go earn it. And if this message hits your soul, hit that subscribe button, like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. Because real recognize real. And this world needs more warriors willing to put in the work. Let's build, let's rise, let's win.